Good afternoon, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission. It is Thursday, September 19th. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioners Diane Cian,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Shirikian,
Yes.
Chairperson Deaver.
Yes. Next item.
For the record, Commissioner Kavanian is not present.
Thank you.
The agenda for the September 19th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on September 16, 2013.
Next item.
At 2, consent items. 2A, approval of meeting minutes from August 15th, 2013.
We have comments or a motion?
No comments.
Motion to.
I second.
Roll call.
Commissioners Cian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Shirikian,
Yes.
Chairperson Deaver.
Yes. Next item.
At 3, introductions and presentations. At 3A, library arts and culture events presented by Chuck Wyke, Community Relations Manager.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Deaver, fellow commissioners, city staff. I'm going to give you a very brief overview. There is so much going on in September and October. I'm going to give you the highlights. Your paperwork should have many more events. First of all, Saturday, the winners selected for the Chevy Chase Youth Film Festival are going to be shown at the Chevy Chase Library at 2:30 p.m. These are young students, so if you want to see what a future Steven Spielberg or something like that is producing as a teenager or as even a preteen, come on out to the Chevy Chase Library. Bolus, another film, award-winning filmmaker Eric Nazarian is going to screen his short film Bolus on September 26th at the Central Library Auditorium. Really excited to have him come back. Just a few pictures of the current state of the Brand Library and art galleries. We found this. Boy, there's a sign and an address, so I think we're making it quite real up there. You can't quite tell, but this shot is a shot that never existed before. It's kind of the back end where the handicap parking is, but you would have never have come in that way before, so that's something brand new. Finally, you can kind of tell the colors are coming in. They've done the floors. The ceilings are pretty well finished. This is the art reference room. So to the right, that fireplace is right where you walked in the front door of Brand before. So you'll notice the colors on the walls, trim, everything. It's really exciting. The next move will be, I guess, moving all the books and CDs back in there. I wanted to let you know that there was a call for artists and curators to submit for the 2014 exhibition season at Brand Library and Art Galleries. We're very happy to start that up again. This went out last week. It's been emailed to all of our email lists. It's been on some listservs. We've worked a lot with social media. We're constantly pushing it out. And a lot of our sort of associates, different organizations around the city of LA are pushing that out also for us. The deadline is November 15. Again, it's artists and curators for next year's season at Brand Library. On a kind of a similar note, LA County Arts Commission has sent out a call for artists for their pre-qualified list. So they put a lot of artists on a list of people they can draw from over the next couple of years. That application is due October 16th. Some associates of Brand Library events. October 12th, the associates have a real big fundraiser. They're going to be in a home of a collector of art. It's a paid event, but it's a real top-notch event. That's Saturday, October 12th. In November, they have an art and music sale, mostly books. Had a lot of artwork, actually. That's Saturday, November 16th at the Central Library. If you're a member of the Associates or a member of the Friends of the Library, you get in at 9 a.m., so you can get a shot at those books a little earlier. I've probably left off at least one Associates event, but you may hear about that later. The Big Draw LA, it's a regional Southern California event. We're partnering with the Big Draw LA. So we've got a number of events that encourage people to come in off the streets into our libraries and draw. They'll provide the paper, we'll provide the pencils, we'll provide kind of the impetus for that, because we've got a comic book workshop, and we've got another one that's kind of take on what the city is all about and make you draw about it. So we've got two really fine artists. They work for Disney, Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers. They're going to come in and lead those two events. Again, that's in your list, but that's the Big Draw LA. We have a company from Pasadena runs a 3D printing company. They actually build the machines, and they're coming in to talk about 3D printing. Could be art, could be business. I just saw last night somebody's built a jet engine. I'm sorry, it was a rocket ship engine with 3D printing. So that's October 24th at 7 p.m. at the Central Library. This is a great one, great picture, Heavenly Bodies, just in time for Halloween. We have a scholar, I think I told you about this last month. We've got a scholar who is going to discuss the cult treasures and spectacular saints from the catacombs. This picture doesn't do it justice. Those jewels are a bright blue in his eyes. This month, we're promoting our library app, and it's part of a concerted effort that we began earlier in the year, where all staff will promote a thing. So this month, it's the app. Next month, it'll be a piece of the app. If you want, it's the Mango Languages program. Again, it's like Rosetta Stone, except it's free. You can do it on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer. So we're making an effort to make sure that all of our staff know what our programs are about. And in this small way, we're just pushing out very specific programs for the next couple of months. That's what some of the pages look like if you just look at a phone. I think those are my screenshots from my phone. Again, works on all kinds of tablets, you name it, Android or iOS. Mango Languages has partnered with some group that has put on International Talk Like a Pirate Day. So that's today. Congratulations to all of you. If you want to all say the word yar, yar. It's actually an expression of sadness or just a bit of grief if you were a pirate. But they've it's a cute deal, but it helps people connect to our little Mango site because they're interested in this. That's created by a couple of guys up in Oregon. Finally, for whatever I left off or whatever questions you have, please look at our GlendalePublicLibrary.org. That's our website. We've got a Facebook page. We shoot out a lot of information on Twitter. The Friends of the Library have a page. The Associates of Brand Library have a Facebook page and a website. So that's where you're likely to see a lot of that information. If you don't get it from our Twitter account or from some email I send out, you'll see it there. Questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Next item.
At 3B, presentation by Corinne Gregorian of the Glendale Youth Alliance on their upcoming art exhibit fundraiser.
Good afternoon. My name is Karina Gregorian. I'm with the Glendale Youth Alliance. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. We're very excited to announce our second annual art exhibit fundraiser that we'll be holding on November 7th, 6 p.m. This year's art exhibit will be held at the Glendale Forest Lawn Museum, Hall of Crucifixion Resurrection. The admission is actually free, but we will have wine and hors d'oeuvres for a $25 donation. We are honored to have Mr. Rosmi Gregorian as our curator this year. We are still accepting art submissions. The deadline has been extended to September 27th. We would like to ask the Commission for your help in reaching out to artists within the community. The call for artists is available on our website, www.glendaleyouthAlliance.org. We ask for your support for the event as well. So sorry. We invite the public as well as the commission members to the event. It's going to be a great event. Currently, we have 45 artists that have expressed interest and over 150 pieces that have been submitted. And all the proceeds from the event will go back to the Glendale Youth Alliance and serving the youth of our community by providing them youth employment opportunities. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Age group for the submission. What's the age?
There's no age group. It's open to all artists.
Okay.
But ultimately, the curator will have the final decision whether the artist submitted or not.
Commissioner Lee?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yes. I can send it to Annette and she can forward. Yes, great. Thank you.
Wanted to thank you for all your efforts and the recognition that you got last year from for the Jewel Awards, because you're doing such a good job for our community. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it'll be a wonderful event, and I hope that many come out for that across the community.
We hope to see you all there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Oh, one question.
Yes.
For artists to put their work for the exhibition, is there any kind of a fee that they have to pay or et cetera, or not?
No, there's no fee. If the art is sold, we ask that 50%, minimum 50% be contributed to the organization.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes.
That was very important to know. There are
Yes,
many artists
thank you.
who like to exhibit their work, but because they have to pay in advance for
Right.
the location, so it's a hassle for them. Thank you.
No fee, yes. Thank you.
Thanks. Next item.
At 4, oral communications. Discussion is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The commission may refer the matter to city staff for investigation and report.
And I have one card here from Judy Davis with the Verdugo Hill Showtime Chorus. From the podium. Oh, sorry.
This is the day, my lucky day. I want to sing, I want to sing. The world is right, my heart is light, I'm like a baby. There is no maybe. I know my fate, I know my fate. I never knew what love could do, my heart is reeling. The way I'm feeling is simply great, simply great. Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. I could jump over the moon up above. Fit as a fiddle and ready for love, ready for love. Having a worry, I haven't a care. Feel like a feather floating on air. Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. Yes, I'm ready for love. Soon the church bells will be ringing, and I'll march with Ma and Pa. How the church bells will be ringing, with a hey nonny nonny and a hop cha cha. Hi diddle diddle, my baby's okay. Ask me a riddle, what did he say? Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. Soon the church bells will be ringing, and I'll march with Ma and Pa. how those church bells will be ringing with a hey noddy noddy and a ha cha cha, hi diddle diddle, my baby's okay. Ask me a riddle, what did he say? Fit as a fiddle and ready for love. With a high diddle diddle, I'm fit as a fiddle and ready for love, for love.
Thank you for having us. I'm Judy Davis with Verdugo Hills Showtime Chorus. This is our music committee, and they perform throughout the county, throughout the state, throughout the world, actually, as we are an international organization. I'm here today for 3 reasons. Number one, to thank you, Terry, for all the forthcoming advice and information you gave about working with the City of Glendale and opportunities here. Having worked with about 12 different cities in the Los Angeles County, I can tell you that Glendale has the most information and the most help of any I've talked to. So your constituents can be very proud of your stewardship, and that is a fact. My second thing to talk about is October 12th. The Glendale High School is the scene of our big show. Our Verdugo Hills Chorus will be performing, as well as Channel Air Chorus, who is the Region 11 Championship Chorus for 2013. We'll also have quartets, the Regional Champion Quartet there, as well as 4 13-year-olds who you will not believe can sing and put a tune in your heart and a clap to your hands and a tap to your toe that will last for a long time. We encourage you to come to our show at Glendale High School at 7 o'clock and invite your friends and family and everyone who loves good music. You know, the world has forgotten what harmony sounds like. Now, you can take that any way you want, but we all know that we need some cheerful, outgoing people in this world to create a better world, and that's what our chorus does throughout the world. Now, the third thing is, at 9 o'clock, that very same day at Glendale High School, from 9 to noon, we will have the Buzz, who are international queens of harmony, 2 times, and teach throughout the world 4-part harmony to women of all ages. They especially love to teach young people. That is a specialty that we all love to do. But that opportunity will be open to young women to come there. We'll put them in a class and teach them to sing 4-part harmony. They'll learn a song and they'll perform with us on stage that night. It's an exciting time for a cappella. You know, all the TV programs you all see. Now, we don't do Dancing with the Stars, but all the a cappella programs that you see on TV, the singing programs, the kids love. And with the depletion of money for our music departments in schools, we can fill that void. I'm happy to work with Chuck here in the near future for his youth group, because these women all teach. They have after-school programs for young women who want to learn to sing. And we have a program within the region where they come and perform and earn medals for that. I will say that Verdugo Hills also holds an a cappella scholarship festival at Glendale High School once a year. We give away $35,000 to music departments within LA County for the programs. The kids come and perform all day, and we have professional judges who then rate them and then pass over the money, and they're real happy about that. So we love to sing. Is there any doubt about that? But we love to teach women of all ages. I'll betcha there's some closet singers here. And we'd love to have you come and join us on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock at Westminster Church in Pasadena. That's where we rehearse. But today it's all about October 12th, the Glendale High School our show called Moments in Time, where we'll perform music much like you just heard here, as well as other tunes from the 80s like Sweet Dreams, and I want to take your questions.
Commissioner Diane.
First of all, indeed, you bring joy, and you made this a very festive event today by your presence here. It was fabulous. Number two, I wanted to see that, do you also work with the young kids as well? Because we have Glendale Unified School District has a major program, which for years I was in charge of, that they have an after-school program, which is highly respected. And we would love any kind of participation, because we have youngsters after school who come and do their homework, and they do, different activities, they learn different skills. So if they're willing and, because not everybody is capable to work with the kids, they're different. But yet, if that is part of your expertise, it would be much appreciated. So you could contact Glendale Unified School District, EELP program, EEELP, Early Education and Extended Learning Program, and ask for the after-school person, and they would guide you, and they would love to have you, so they can schedule you for their many sites, about 11 or 12 sites, that from middle school down, and if you're willing, you can work with them, and we would treasure that.
Excellent. We will certainly look into that. You got to start them early, I think, whatever the good thing is. Are there any other questions? Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And let me ask, is there a website or other information for people who want to get tickets or learn more about that?
Yes, thank you for that. If they will just go to Verdugo Hills Chorus, www.Verdugo Hills Chorus, that's our website, and the flyer for the show will be right there. There's also more information. The flyer also has a phone number for Jackie Wheatley right here to take tickets or to answer questions. Her website is also on there, her email rather, and we'd be happy to talk to you further and go to work with the City of Glendale. And any of you that belong to other clubs and organizations, we provide entertainment, and yes, we have a fee schedule, but we are so anxious to get our voices out into the community and collect some more voices that we waive some of those fees, or we're able to negotiate a little bit to get performances out there. So thank you again so much. And my comment about the City of Glendale and the helpfulness coming from Terry and Chuck and others that I've talked to was quite astounding and wonderful to see in this day and age of trying to get your representatives to help. Thank you so much.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
The website again was Verdugo Hills Chorus.
www.VerdugoHillsChorus.com
or .org?
.org. I'm so sorry. .org. Yeah, there you go. And it will come up. And please give us a shot.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Next item.
At 5, business agenda, 5A, action items, review and approve art in vacant storefronts program, RFP.
Thank you. Last Tuesday, staff presented the 2015 work plan to the City Council. They reviewed the work plan and approved it with some comments and recommended some changes. One of the programs that they wanted to see open up for an RFP was the Art and Vacant Storefronts program. So I have prepared a draft for you to review and approve, which can then be taken to the Council for their final approval. Just want to give you a quick rundown of the timeline for not only this project, but also what most of our projects are going to look like, just so the community understands how things are going to be working. So the step one was identifying our priorities in the work plan, which we did and which was approved. The next step is for each of those priority programs and projects to develop the scope of the program, the theme, identify specifics such as the location, if we're looking at murals, the budget, if we're going to be issuing multiple grants or opportunities for artists. Once we develop that, it'll be developed into either a call for artists or an RFP, and then that'll go back to the council for their final approval. And once we do that, we will begin accepting artists and or consultant proposals. And then the most exciting part, and we keep inching closer to this step 5, which is implementation. So I just wanted the community to understand some of the stages, the steps that we have to go through to finally get to the really exciting portion of this. So we are in step 2 for the Art and Vacant Storefronts program RFP. Just to refresh everyone's memory of the program, essentially the vision of the program is to utilize ground floor vacancies as temporary art galleries or show windows in an effort to activate the pedestrian interest at the street level. It's also to enhance existing cultural and citywide events, because events like this can encourage an art walk and people coming to the city to experience the art. Something that was also asked by the council was to introduce new concepts and art forms for this program. They really like the vision that was presented by the previous consultant, but they want to see some new concepts and themes. And then we would like to, essentially, as we are going to be accepting submissions for new proposals for continuing the program. Essentially, it's really to use the success of the last program as a foundation and really to create something new and to work off of that and implement it citywide. There were limitations previously where it had to be limited to the downtown, but a new consultant that comes in can really look beyond the borders of the downtown area and look into the creative corridor and other pocket neighborhoods of our community. Now, the scope of work, we're asking for a lot from our consultant. As you can see, there's quite a few important items, and some of them were recommended to be included by both the commission and the council. The program budget is $60,000, and that includes everything for this project. So the consultant is really going to have to be really creative with this budget, and really they're going to have to use this to not only pay for any insurance costs or cleaning up spaces, enhancing spaces, to marketing, and also to pay themselves for the work that they're putting into. So I'll quickly go over the scope of work. One is we need to develop, the consultant will need to develop a brand identity and a program concept. When they submit a proposal, we're going to need to understand what they're proposing. We really want to see that big vision of how they see this program evolving beyond the downtown and citywide. They'll also be responsible for the selection of artists, and I know this was something that was important for the commission, and we have recommended that either a commissioner or a community member be involved in that selection process. The consultant will also be responsible for identifying and securing locations and spaces for the temporary art galleries, and they'll of course be responsible for the installation, setup, and cleanup of the art galleries. And then with that, they'll be responsible for administering the program and the budget. So we're looking for a consultant that has experience doing something like this and can really utilize that $60,000 to not only use it to create those spaces, but do the programming along with it, as well as some of the promotion. If possible, we'd really like to see these spaces and the installations changed out or rotated throughout the city. And something else that was important for the commission was ongoing promotion and marketing of the programs or the installations, and then the ongoing communication. So communicating both with the commission but also the artists, whether they're selected or not selected, is something that's really important to the commission that will be required of the consultant. And the last will be to provide updates to the commission. So once the call for artists is issued, we want to know how many artists submitted, how many have been selected, after a few months of operation, how many installations have they put up. We want to know what's going on and how that budget is being utilized. And using that information, the commission can, choose to extend, into the second year of operation. But again, we're looking at the $60,000 to be split amongst 2 years. But depending on the reports provided by the consultant, the commission will have the discretion to continue or not. And the selection team will use the following as review and evaluation, and ultimately the selection. Of course, we're looking for qualification and experience. We're going to be looking for a consultant that has experience working within a similar scope so that they understand that these spaces are temporary in nature, that they're really going to have to create temporary, display cases in the vacant storefronts. And we also want a consultant that has experience in marketing and promotion, because we want people to know about all the great stuff that the commission is investing in. We'll also be looking at the quality of the submittal. Does the consultant understand what we're asking of them? Do they understand the vision? Do they have a vision themselves for a program? And how clearly does that come across? Are we able to understand that vision and kind of how they want to create this program? And of course, the quality and the experience of the firm's personnel. We're not going to require that you have to be the, only expert in the field, but we want to feel certain that the team working on this is really going to be able to manage and problem solve, because projects like this, problems do come up, and we want to be able to know that a consultant that comes on is going to be able to work with us to resolve some of the issues that may come up, but also work with the artist to be able to get these installations up and running. As I mentioned, the selection teams were something that was important to the commission. So there's going to be 2 different selection teams, and I wanted to just go over them for purposes of clarification. So the consultant selection team will consist of an arts and culture commissioner. The commission felt that they wanted to be involved in the selection of a consultant. Arts and culture staff, as well as other city staff as appropriate. When we begin issuing call for artists or RFPs, it's going to be important to include city staff from different departments that understand what we're doing. So ahead of time, they can tell us, well, this proposal may not work because of X, Y, and Z. And they could also, it also ensures that we're integrating a lot of these projects in the greater city government and within other departments. The other selection team is the artist selection team, and that would consist of the consultant, whether it's 1 or 2 representatives on that team, as well as an arts and culture commissioner and/or community representative. The commission wanted to ensure that there was community representation, so that is something we included in the RFP, and we'll ensure that that happens when we begin the selection process. And quickly to go over the timeline specific to this project. So, of course, today I've presented the RFP for your review and ultimately recommendation for approval. This includes many of the concerns, comments, and recommendations you had, as well as the council. The next step would be to take this to the council for their review and approval. And when they do that, we can issue the request for proposals. And just so you're clear, as well as the community, when we issue RFPs or call for artists, as Chuck mentioned earlier, we do heavy promotion to ensure that we're getting as many proposals as possible, but also giving as many people who are interested in working with the city the opportunity to submit. So we promote through press releases, social media, listservs, websites, and our online newsletter, and we get a really great response that way, and we ensure that we try and hit as many people as possible. And once we receive all of the proposals, the selection team will review and select the consultant. And what I want to put in here that will take time is the consultant will need to finalize a contract and insurance with the city. I include our professional services agreement and our insurance requirements in the RFP, so there are no surprises. So a consultant who is submitting a proposal understands exactly how the city works, what some of the insurance requirements are, and they can really take that into consideration when they're submitting, plus when they're developing their budget. And then when it comes to program implementation, we will work with the consultant to, again, to promote through press releases, social media, listservs, website, and online newsletters so people know that this program is being implemented. We are requiring that the consultant do promotion, but, the Library Arts and Culture Department will also be doing some of that. But I want you to understand that on both sides of this, we are going to be promoting it heavily. And then last but not least, we are requiring at least biannual reports by the consultant to the commission so we understand where the project status is. And that concludes my presentation. As mentioned, very confident that I've included all of your comments and concerns. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, and I recommend that the Commission recommend approval of this, and I will take it to the Council for their final approval.
Questions? Commissioner Darvon?
Just wanted to say thank you very much, because whatever Commission has asked and requested, you have precisely and very accurately included in everything that we are doing. I really want to thank you for that, because that takes that additional time that we had to go back and forth discuss about issues. You are doing a great job. Thank you very much, Ms. Vartanian. Very pleased.
Commissioner Shurikian?
On page 4 of 8, where under section B, it says selection of artists. I was reading, and halfway through it says either North and Culture Commissioner or a local artist representative is required to participate in the artist selection process. Both are preferable as available. Consultant is required to provide preference to Glendale artists for no less than 20%. Considering this is a City of Glendale project, I would encourage more Glendale resident artists to participate. The 20%, I think it's a very small number. Considering I would like to see more, if it's possible, somewhere between 40 to 50% encourage local artists. Otherwise, we might see outside Glendale residents might come and start to use the Glendale properties or Glendale venues, which is fine, but at the same time, I want to give more chance to the local artists. That's my point of view, if it's possible. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I'll comment on that, actually. I think we'll be clear, and I think we've all been pretty clear about wanting to ensure that Glendale artists have an opportunity and are participating in this. I think personally, it's when you're saying we're requiring a certain percentage, making that higher, I think is an undue burden on the consultant not knowing what's coming forward. The encouragement would be, of course, that a lot of Glendale artists would be submitting and would be selected, but I think if we're going to put a requirement on that, I don't think we can make that too high. Particularly if you're saying of all these approved or artists for this program, 20% of those will get a preference over somebody who's not a Glendale artist. So I personally am comfortable with the 20%. But.
And I just want to remind the community this is just one of, probably 5 more projects. I would say if this were the only project we were implementing, then we could increase that. But because we are offering such a variety of different projects and opportunities for multiple artists to be involved in, everything is going to require at least one artist. Some of the other projects, I think if we try and include, that 20% number in some of the other projects, we should get a really good representation of Glendale artists. And it doesn't mean that we won't get a larger participation. We may just end up getting 40% because those are the best, representations of whatever the call for artists or the RFP is. But it's ultimately the Commission's decision.
And to clarify, too, I think, if I remember correctly, in here, when we're looking at reports from the consultant as well, that we're looking for, how many Glendale artists submitted, how many were actually selected as compared to others. So we'll have that data, that if it just seems like they're being unfairly representing outside artists over qualified artists in Glendale, I think that'll be pretty clear.
Well, and also I think that when we give this opportunity to the outside artists to join as well, we are increasing the chance of our artists to participate in other exhibitions and efforts all over LA County or statewide or nationwide, because that way we kind of open up for this dialogue between the artists of different cities. Just to have good artists here and then deal with good artists here, that is one thing. To be able to spread up and to include is a major thing. But as far as everybody discussed, since that's not going to limit it, but it's at least 20% are supposed to be our artists, that sounds good. For the time being, and if it doesn't work in the future, we'll definitely modify to make sure that it accommodates. Our job is to make sure that our artists thrive and succeed in our community, but we do want not to stagnate and to kind of constantly have this commotion of all in and out and different activities happening within the art world.
Other comments or questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
And I second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Derhavanassian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Shirikian,
Yes.
Chairperson Deaver.
Yes. Next item, please.
At 5A2, cancellation of October 17th, 2013 meeting.
This is a very short report. Staff is recommending that the Arts and Culture Commission cancel its regularly scheduled meeting for October 17th and reschedule a special meeting for Thursday, October 31st.
That sounds good because that's my birthday and I can celebrate it properly. And I can come with Halloween outfits, which I never do. Of course, I'm just joking, for the 31st.
Does that work for other
It's okay with
commissioners at this point?
It's okay.
Commissioner Lee?
Make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Roll call.
Commissioners Derhavanassian,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Shirikian,
Yes.
Chairperson Deaver.
Yes. Next item.
At 6, Commission staff comments.
Commissioner Shirikian?
Yes, yes. When I was reading the whole project, a few things came up in my mind, and I want to express that some community TV stations and newspapers approached me and asked me for interviews regarding those programs, and I would gonna suggest Terry to be one of them, for newspapers especially, where she knows a lot about the program, or Annette. So therefore, I'm going to ask both of you to be available when at newspaper or TV stations. I'm going to recommend, so you guys can go out there and spread the word of those programs. A lot of artists are interested to approach, but they're still not, they're puzzled. They don't know which way to go, who to ask. Therefore, communication and press releases are important, but at the same time, I think we need to have few words out there, like Annette or Terry, to go out there and spread the word and make things available to the artists and local organizations, because it's not just the $60,000 we're talking about, but we're talking about performance art, kids program, many other things. So therefore, this is a big leap for Glendale, but at the same time, we want to express how we can help them. So therefore, maybe down the line, in a week or two or a month, let's go out there and do our best. And this is it. Yeah, thank you.
Well, could I say something? You know, you're very wise. Even
I want to make sure we're not getting into discussion.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Just comment that that's the procedure.
Thank you.
We do.
Commissioner Lee?
That was,
Okay.
I could do that? That's
Of course, yeah, absolutely. I just didn't want to get into a back and forth dialogue.
It is because
Just
that
comments.
is the procedure for people who are new within our program, and it was very nice to see that everything is working right, that the daunting task falls upon the chair and the administrator of the staff that is we have in these programs that they direct, and they are our spokesperson. They all know what the commission wishes, what each and every individual wants within the commission, and they do take that task upon themselves, and they do a great job usually. So thank you.
Commissioner Lee.
With sadness, I have to say that the city has currently canceled the Unity Festival for this year. There's a few reasons, but have to acknowledge that. So we're going to look forward to making a bigger and better festival next year. Thank you.
I want to mention that the Associates of Brown Library and Arts Center, in addition to the upcoming fundraiser that they have on the 12th, which Chuck White had announced earlier, they also have another event coming up on the 19th of October, which is a free to the public Metro Gold Line tour, the Los Angeles Metro, of their different public art along that. It's like a 2-hour tour, but you can go to their website, associatesofbrownlibrary.org, for more information about that and other events that they have. And that was all I had.
Question, is that the repeat of one that the same tour was done before, and I missed it last time?
They did another tour last year of the Red Line, which I believe had sold out, and so this was the second one coming up. Commissioner Lee?
A little tidbit for the Chinese community. Today is the Mid-Autumn Moon Day. They have festivals probably this weekend all over Southern California. It's where the Asian culture celebrates the coming of the new autumn crops and wish for a bountiful season. Mooncakes are being sold and eaten today for that purpose. So people can look forward to seeing that out in the markets and in the stores. Thank you.
Can I say one thing I forgot? I forgot to mention that there is a major event coming up that this lady who's sitting here, Cindy Cleary, who is the director of the Library and Art and Culture Commission, has been appointed and nominated for the Women Achiever by the Business Life magazine, which is a very highly reputable magazine in the community, and everybody knows about it. So we are very proud of this nomination, and we think it's very rightly so. You deserve that more than anybody else that I do know of. Thank you.
May I add one thing? Last year, there was an Armenian-Korean festival in La Crescenta area, and this is the second annual Armenian-Korean festival that's going to be held on October 13th, Sunday. It's a whole-day festival, and it's a nice event. It's all cultural and food.
Where in La Crescenta?
CV High School. Yeah, it's a nice place, so please join us on October 13th. And we have Korean and Armenian food, dance, cultural performances, and it's very nice. Thank you.
Next item?
That's
The time?
at
What
7.
time?
The whole day.
The whole day. Okay.
Sorry, next item.
Sorry.
At 7, written communications.
And I just want to note that I received a communications from Paul Ayers, and that staff is looking into that. And that was all I believe that we had. Before we move into adjournment, I just want to reiterate that the meeting for our regular scheduled meeting for October has been canceled. It had been on the 17th, sorry, and that we have been rescheduled now for 2 p.m. on October 31st as a special meeting of the Arts and Culture Commission in October. And with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.